Three people, three different worlds. One thing in common. Everyone around them called it luck. They knew something the crowd did not. In a small town, there was a woman who made cloth. Not beautiful cloth, not expensive cloth, just cloth. Woven so tightly, so evenly that it never frayed, never shrank, never came apart at the seam. For 30 years, nobody noticed. Then one winter, disaster came through the valley. Tents were needed, sacks, bandages, anything that would hold. Every bolt of fabric in the market failed within days, wet, torn, useless. Except hers. Her cloth held. Through mud, through cold, through weight it was never designed to carry. People called it a miracle. She had no word for it at all, because to her there was no event to name. There was only the same standard she had kept every single day for 30 years, when no one was watching, when no one was buying, when no one cared. Fortune did not weave that cloth. She did. Fortune only decided which winter to arrive. In the Kalahari, there was an old man of the Song people who could read the desert the way others read a face. Not the surface of it, the memory of it. He could read the bend of a single blade of grass, the angle of a displaced stone, the way dust had settled differently on one side of a footprint than the other. He had been learning this since he was 4 years old, taught by his grandfather who had been taught by his grandfather before that. Generation after generation of attention, pressed into the same red earth, refining the same gift. One dry season, a child from the village went missing. Search parties found nothing. They came to the old man. He crouched at the edge of the village, looked at the ground for a long time, then stood up and walked north. 3 hours later, he came back carrying the child. The child was alive. The village said it was a miracle. The old man said nothing, because in 60 years of reading the earth, he had learned that the desert withholds nothing. It simply requires a vocabulary most people abandoned before they were old enough to use it. He had never abandoned it. That is not a miracle. That is what happens when a lifetime of attention arrives at exactly the moment it was needed. In the deep rivers beneath a mountain, where no light has ever reached, there lives a fish with no eyes. It was not born blind by accident. Over thousands of generations, it lost its eyes deliberately, because in permanent darkness, eyes cost energy and return nothing. Instead, it developed something far more precise, a sense so sharp it can detect the pressure of a single water molecule displaced 3 body lengths away. It knows the shape of every tunnel, every current, every crack in the rock. When the floodwaters surge, churning, violent, disorienting, other creatures are swept away or crushed. The blind cavefish does not struggle. It reads the water. It finds the one channel where the pressure is right, where the current bends just so, and moves through the flood as if the flood was built for it. People call outcomes like this luck. But the blind cavefish did not arrive at that moment by chance. It arrived there by 10,000 generations of building something the flood could not take away. The flood did not find a lucky fish. The flood found the only creature in that water that it never needed to see the danger coming, because it had already learned the shape of everything the danger moved through. That is not fortune. That is what lives in an organism when preparation has gone so deep, it no longer even feels like preparation. It simply feels like home. A weaver in a winter valley, a tracker in the Kalahari, a fish that cannot see. 3 worlds, 3 lifetimes of quiet preparation, one truth the crowd always got wrong. Now tell me, which story stayed with you? The weaver, the tracker, or the fish that learned to read what it could not see? Leave your answer below, and send this to someone who mistakes preparation for luck.